Hello YouTube, I hope you are having a fabulous evening. The weekend is over. I woke up 10 o'clock this morning. It took me some time to get my information together for what I'm presenting tonight. I didn't even plan on doing this tonight. I actually did a video about prostitution. It's up on there, check that out. And this completes my series of Women's History Month. I had to close it out on a positive note. I didn't want the prostitution video to be my last video, so I was uploading it all day, literally from 12 o'clock until now. It just uploaded at 10:30. I'm like, you know what, I'm not sleepy yet, let me get this out the way, because I know tomorrow when I come from work, I plan on going out, but even if I don't go out after work tomorrow, I don't plan on doing no video during the week. Like, I know I do here and there, but now that I work 9 to 5, nah, I'll do it like on my way to work. As you can see, I do it when I'm walking to work from the train station, or if I'm walking to the train station. So I had to upload that prostitute video, because I knew what I had to say about these three ladies would take more than 10 minutes, and now I have 37 minutes. Hopefully I could fit it into that. If not, I'll just make another video. But let's get into it. Marian Anderson, Josephine Baker, and Mary McLeod Bethune. So I'm going to start off with Marian Anderson. She was born February 27th, 1897, and she died on April 8th, 1993. She lived a very long life. She sang music from opera to spirituals. On January 7th, 1955, Anderson became the first African-American singer to perform at the Metropolitan Opera, which was a very big deal back then. You have a lot of black opera singers now. The very first opera I saw was for my 16th birthday, with Samson and Delilah, and it was incredible. They actually had a black woman that played Delilah. She was very proportioned, very thick, beautiful black woman. And it's just a beautiful thing. Like, they also have black operas, and those are really good. Fire Shut Up in My Bones, I think I spoke about it. I put it up on this channel last year. It was really good. Really, really good. But the way we do operas is a little different from European style. We actually, the people use like their voices versus like the simple opera voice. So I thought that was dope. Yeah, so she participated in the civil rights movement in the 1960s, which I didn't know till I did the research. That's why I love doing this, because as I'm telling it, I'm learning as well too. So, singing at the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. So the march with Martin Luther King, she was right there, which I didn't know. So, Marian Anderson, she was basically known for not just singing, but actually standing for something. And that's why I chose her. So the second person that I will be talking about is Josephine Baker. Now, Josephine Baker was born June 3rd, 1906, and she died April 12th, 1975. She was born in France and was a dancer, a singer, and an actress. She was the first black woman to star in a major motion picture, 1927, in a silent film, Siren of the Tropics is the name of it. Again, that was in 1927, and she was the first black woman to star in a movie, period. She refused to perform for segregated audience in the United States, and known for her contribution to the civil rights movement. There's a movie about her, actually Halle Berry is in it, the Josephine Baker story, I believe, and it shows how racist that America was. Like, she was able to be something in France, but America was and is so racist. Like, a lot of artists, they make their, even Summer Walker right now, She's more famous in other countries. If you follow Summer Walker on YouTube, a lot of her concerts, those are not in America, guys. Those are in other countries where you see a whole sea full of people. Yeah, so some people, they do well in other countries. So yeah. She refused to perform for a segregated audience. Yeah. So in 1968, she was offered unofficial leadership in the movement following the assassination of Martin Luther King. That's pretty dope, you know, because so basically she was offered the position to be in his shoes, and she declined because due to concerns for the welfare of her children. Now, she didn't have any biological children. She had a hysterectomy, but she did adopt children. On November 30th, 2021, she was inducted into the Pantheon in Paris, the first black woman to receive one of the highest honors in France. That's huge. And Baker was born with the last name Josephine McDonald, and Baker was her married name that she kept. So she was married twice. She was married at 13, and then she remarried at 15. And it's his last name that she kept. And she later divorced. But she became the most successful American entertainer in France. So that's pretty dope. And what made me pick Josephine Baker as well, I didn't even know that she contributed so much, and it's just dope that all the women that I picked, they weren't just talented, they were involved in civil rights and in doing something. You know, that's what fascinates me about all the women that I chose. Now, Marian McLeod Bethune, I found a lot on her. She was born July 10th, 1875, and died May 18th, 1955. She was an American educator, philanthropist, humanitarian, womanist, and civil rights activist. She founded the National Council of Negro Women in 1935, established two organizations, Flagship Journal, African Americans Women's Journal, and presided over myriad African American women's organizations, including the National Association for Colored Women, and appointed by President Franklin D. Roosevelt as the secretary to lead the National Youth Association, the NYA, and the first black woman appointed to lead a federal agency. So your girl was doing it. She was doing it big. She started a private school for African American students, which later became Bethune-Cookman University. So to start that back then was really, really dope. You know, I was very impressed when I found all this out. In 1930, journalist Ida Tarbell included Bethune as number 10 on her list of America's greatest women. Bethune was awarded the Spring Medal in 1935 by the NAACP. In 1940, she became the vice president of the NAACP. Bethune was the only black woman present at the founding of the United Nations in San Francisco in 1945. The Marian McLeod Bethune Scholarship Program for fluoridating students wishing to attend historically black colleges and universities within the state is named in her honor. So that's pretty cool. A state of Bethune in Jersey City, New Jersey, was a statue of Bethune in Jersey City, New Jersey, was dedicated in 2021 in her namesake park, which is named after her, Marian McLeod Bethune, across the street from the Marian McLeod Bethune Life Center. So they definitely all got their flowers Marian Anderson, she also was inducted 2021. There's a statue of her. Yeah, so these women I picked because, not just because they were famous, but they actually contributed to society. And all the women that I looked up are very inspirational. And these dangerous prayers, I love this book. I love it. I love it. And I'm going to read a prayer that McLeod Bethune said. Father, we call thee Father because we love thee. We are glad to be called thy children and to dedicate our lives to the service that extends through willing hearts and hands to the betterment of all mankind. Grant us strength and courage and faith and humility sufficient for the task assigned to us. And I'm a great believer, not just because I was raised that way, but everything I have, and I know I have a long way to go, but one thing that all these women have in common, for the most part, some of them it doesn't mention spiritual beliefs, but when you put God first, amazing things happen. One thing about loving God, loving yourself, once you love yourself, that's the key thing. Once you fall in love with yourself, you can't help but to help your people. So people that, they're not interested in history, or they're not interested in helping out or being a part of change, you got to look at this. How do they feel about themselves? Are they happy to be a woman? Are they happy to be black? You got to look at that. And that's the key thing. And this research has given me confidence in myself I could do anything I put my mind to. If Mary McLeod Bethune could open up a college when black folks were prohibited from reading, it ain't no excuse for none of y'all. None. I talked about Ida B. Wells. I talked about Angela Davis. I talked about all these women. And I hope that you all have gotten something from it. You learned from it, because I definitely have learned from it, and it's given me confidence. All the women that have passed away this month alone, may they rest in peace. And yeah, March is over tomorrow, and Women's History Month doesn't have to start and stop in March. It's always good to just celebrate a woman, if it's your mom, if it's your aunt, whoever that you look up to, your grandma, teachers, let's support each other as women. I think that's the key thing. And that concludes my series for Women's History Month. And those are my thoughts. Good night.